Three words: cold, flat, and rubber. Well, my father is Peter Pan. It's a big name in Rhode Island. Now he's like a legend or a grand legend. I always make fun of him because he's like 57, but he's all like tight and toned, and I'm like, that's not really fair, Dad. You run like every day. That guy eats, you know, like. So there's two kids in the family. My brother doesn't surf at all. So it was very important for at least one of us to get in the water, and that one of us was me.
Yeah, basically when I took her out surfing and it was freezing cold, ice hanging off her helmet, when she was like about 10. But then she got used to it, and now she surfs in the cold all the time.
To be a surfer in Rhode Island would be to just surf in the winter most of the time. And that and patience, because we don't get a lot of waves. Being in a wetsuit is incredibly uncomfortable. You can't move. All that shows is your face. Like that much of your face is just really, it's gross. I would say it's gross.
The women up here take it more seriously because they have to put all the wetsuits on and go through a lot of trouble to go surfing in the cold. So consequently, they're a lot better surfers.
When I was younger, I was probably one of the only girls in the water. There's a lot more girls in the water now, especially on the beach when it's hot. But it's not to say that there's a lot more surfers, there's just a lot more girls in the water because a lot of them don't really surf very well. I always felt pressure to do better, especially when I was younger and he would put me in like team gear because he's on all these teams. He'd just throw me in team gear and I couldn't stand up, so it was really like embarrassing. But because of him pushing me, that's the only reason why I surf. He's the main competition guy. My father loves to compete. He thrives on it. Going to competitions with him was always having him push me into the competition, and it meant more to him than it meant to me. It still does. Well, Mario was my father's best friend, so I grew up with him around all the time. When I was a kid and my father was particularly hard on me with competitions, he'd always be there and he'd always be setting the record straight. He was the one who had the good advice. He was the one who told you where to go to catch waves in the contest. He'd be the one on the beach waving the hat so you know a set is coming. And where my father would get too worked up and too involved, Mario was always able to take a step back and to really give you a full view and like a good perspective. When Mario was younger, he was like the best surfer from Rhode Island. He was extremely obnoxious. There's stories of him like dropping in backwards at Monahan, smoking a cigarette and like flicking butts at people. He was one of those guys. When he got into a horrible motorcycle accident and lost his arm and shattered his leg to the point where when they put it back together, he lost 6 inches on his leg. Since he was a big surfer and he doesn't surf anymore, he puts most of his energy into coaching or living vicariously through my father or whatever, you know, because he can't get into the water the way he used to. I just don't care to be better than anyone else. I don't have a competitive bone in my body. You know, I'd get out there and all these girls would be all aggro about catching waves. Oh, I want to win, I'd want to win. And be like, go ahead, I just don't care. Like, because it's 15 minutes that you're out in the water for, and it's so subjective. Like, so the girl who can barely stand caught a better wave than me. That doesn't make her a better surfer than me, but she won. Surfing's fun. It's meant to be fun. I continued to compete mainly for my father because it made him so damn happy. Like, he'd be so excited if I won. He'd be foaming and frothing and jumping up and down. For a long time, I just did it for him. Always for him. This year, sadly enough, I'm going to be 30 soon. But I finally was just like, I'm not doing it anymore. I can't stand it. Only particular kind of girl wants to seriously surf. A lot of them just kind of want to sit out there in the sun because it's cool and they can meet boys or something like that. Whenever you're a girl in the water, they always look at you like you don't know what you're doing. I don't think I'm some spectacular surfer, but I can like turn on a wave and like drop in, you know, like catch one from like a point break status. Like, when you're out there and girls just sit there and like get in everyone's way, then like people automatically think you're bad just because you're a girl. Most instances, if you're in the water with other guys, you have a disadvantage. I can't paddle as fast or as strong as like a 6-foot dude, you know? There's no way I can out-paddle him. He's automatically going to catch more waves than me. You actually have to go and prove that you can stand up and go before you can even catch a wave. I feel bad when I hire kids for the summer because I'm like, listen, I am sorry, but I'm going to ruin you for the rest of your life now. No matter what job you have, it's not going to beat sitting in a surf shop and like watching bad movies all day and hanging out with your friends, you know? Like, once you work in a surf shop, you really don't want to ever work anywhere else.